with students, the Pause Group from the middle school, and the Saber Spirit Club from the high school. As the evening goes on, you'll see that we really have some common interests and concerns to keep our children safe and our parents informed of what some of the dangers are in the community. So we got a really interesting program tonight. We've got speakers here. We've got Mr. Mike Cady, the principal of the high school. And we actually have our associate principal tonight, Mr. John Budish. And Judge Clements is here. And we have Damon Camarada from Wheaton Behavioral Health, correct, Damon?
Yep.
And Damon's done some work with us before at the high school, doing some parent presentations on how to identify children with depression and mental health issues. And oftentimes these things are precursors to kids getting involved in substance abuse and self-medication, things like that. We know she's going to do a great job. Her name is Haley. She's right here. And she's going to talk about some experience she's had with synthetic drugs that are out there, the K-13, the K2s. There's different names that we'll talk about later. These are some of the things that parents who really want to become aware of and learn about. They're attracted to kids. They're marketed as being legal with disclaimers that not for human consumption, etc. And kids really, like other substances that they use and abuse, they don't know the dangers of these particular synthetics, which are extremely dangerous, potentially deadly as well. And I know Reid's going to talk about that. So, with that, I'm going to introduce Darlene. And Darlene is one of our FAPSU regulars, I guess you could say. And she's going to just talk really quick on the mission of the FAPSU organization, Franklin Area Parents and Students United.
Hi. FAPSU is a group made up of community members, businessmen, clergy, mayors, or judges, parents, and we just have a common goal to educate and prevent disasters with drugs. And I'll just read you our mission statement. The Franklin Area Parents and Students United, or FAPSU for short, is a community partnership centered on reducing alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use, and encouraging healthy lifestyle choices through education, communication, and family empowerment. And I just wanted to say I got involved in this group because I lost a son this year because of heroin. And I just have a desire to get the word out that heroin's back on the street. It's a dangerous drug. You only have to do it once, and you can be hooked. And it takes many lives. 2 Muskego young people just died between April and June, and that was followed by a student in Brookfield that died. And it's become a problem, so I just want you to run the other way if you see heroin coming your way.
Real briefly, and I always tend to do this, but Mike Cady here is really, and really John Budish too. These are the fellows that I believe from the educational system here in Franklin really kind of inspired this type of operation a couple of years back. And we unfortunately see the results of some of these decisions kids make in the school system, and certainly the police, the courts, and really most of all even parents, experience these things with their kids or their friends. And so we thought, how do we get away from just the react kind of trap that we all get into, and then we get into the systems and punishment, and all those things are important and have to happen, but how do we prevent these things in the first place? And from all the research we did, it really came down to, first of all, as individual systems, as an educational system, as a criminal justice system, as a parenting and family system, we have to become aware and recognize that this is an issue in our community, just like it is in any other community. We're no different here in Franklin. And work with our kids to break the perception that everybody's doing this. We know that's not true. Statistics show us that's not true. But the perception amongst our kids are that this stuff's rampant in the high school and the middle school. And what we're really trying to do is change that culture and affect the change and make it known that most kids aren't getting involved. Most kids are making the right decisions. So working as a coalition, we can't do it alone as parents or as a school or as the courts or the police, but working together, providing programs like tonight. I'm really happy to see how many people are here. I think the more we have these kind of opportunities for education and awareness, then comes the next part, which is we can really actually start preventing things once the community is aware. So, Katharine? Yes.
Thank you. My name is Katharine Reid. I'm one of the counselors at Franklin High School, and I'm really proud stakeholder in FAPSU, and I see a lot of other people here that I have seen at meetings before, so I really appreciate the audience that we have tonight. Your presence here is so important to our organization, and your action will be important for us in the future. If you want to go ahead, Mr. Katie, and advance the slides. Here's our poster for tonight's event. This event could not have taken place without a lot of people coming together to participate and help each other out. And I won't be able to really recognize all of them, but certainly our speakers tonight and the use of this room, we're very, very appreciative of that. Thank you. Reid, our FAPSU president, is not here this evening, as Mark said. We will be talking a little bit about some of the statistics, just to give you a little bit of background on some of the issues that are out there. Sometimes statistics are frightening, and our purpose is not really to frighten people or to cause disturbance about drug use or to make the impression that it is everywhere, but it's to bring your awareness to some of the issues that are coming to bear with our students, our young people. And then we will hear from Haley, one of our students, and then Mr. Finne, Mark Finne, will also speak a little bit about a program that he and Kathy Hun, our public nurse in Franklin, attended along with some of our students to learn about how we can help our young people stay safe. So we sometimes have what we could call a problem in our community with culture of use, and that is with substances that are legal. In general, alcohol is legal. We know that some of these new designer drugs are technically legal, but they do have an important impact for young people and can be a devastating impact. Here's an interesting slide that Kathy Hahn sent us. The red dots on this map indicate where taverns outnumber grocery stores. So you can see where we are located on that map. And it's interesting to note that Canada has no taverns. Just kidding, I'm sure they do, but other things of note that sometimes surprises young people and adults as well. More teens enter drug treatment for marijuana use than all other illegal drugs combined. So I think that's a pretty frightening statement, and it does speak to the addictive qualities of marijuana. And a statistic that many of you might be aware of, Wisconsin leads the nation in OWI, DWI infractions, including underage drinking. You may not know that the onset or use of alcohol for young men is at age 11.9. That's an average. Some will be younger, some will be older. And for girls, it's approximately at age 13. So middle school and younger. And the average age at which Americans begin drinking regularly, and this is Americans, all students, all people, 15.9. And that drug or alcohol use may increase each year that students are participating from middle school through high school. Unfortunately, we do not have an internet link tonight. We thought we did, and we will be posting this PowerPoint on the FAPSU.org website, so you will be able to link directly to these sites. I just wanted to mention this article appeared in the paper this past summer about a family in Greendale that experienced the loss of their adult son, who was drinking a legal substance. Grain alcohol is sold at grocery stores, liquor stores. One of the names is Everclear. It is 90% alcohol, and a 22-year-old young man who had just graduated from college, lost his life due to drinking Everclear. And this is another a video that we intended to show for you tonight. It's actually a very important piece of video that if you can link to this, if you go home and go to the website. 2020, ABC's 2020 did a piece, several pieces on these so-called designer drugs. They went to China and videotaped some representatives of pharmaceutical companies in China who create some of these substances. And what's important to note is that there are no regulations, there is no government oversight in China or here of what's in these substances. And right now, we can go to retailers here in our area and purchase these substances. You do have to be 18, but it's clear that young people are able to obtain alcohol underage. They can obtain this substance as well, and there's several different names for those. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark so you can talk a little bit about what some of those street names are and what these substances mimic.
Yeah, just a few minutes. And by the way, we prepared a couple of handouts over on this table on the synthetics. One's on the K2, which is a synthetic marijuana. The other's on the, as Haley told me, the G13, which is also marketed as some other names around the country and the state. There's some information there, just kind of facts for parents, so you can be aware of that. Before I introduce Haley, who's going to talk specifically about the G13, the bath salts, I'll talk a little bit about the K2, what is commonly known as spice. That's what the kids call it. And it's marketed as to kids as a way to get high. You know, it's sprayed with different compounds. It's marketed as incense. It's labeled as incense, so the kids kind of know what it's really about. It's 10 times more potent and powerful than regular marijuana. It causes hallucinations. It causes paranoia, similar to the G13 really, and it can cause seizures and even death. So it's something to be aware of if you find this in the kids' room.